called Remembering the Future, and it's not quite, it's a poem about love, but it's not a Valentine really. It's got an epigraph. It says, "It's a poor sort of memory that only works backwards," said the White Queen, and that's from through Alice Through the Looking Glass, of course. Remembering the future. If I mourn now, remembering I shall one day lose the warm swell of your chest under my cheek, the comfort of your gentle hands on my body. Like the White Queen, if I suffer now the pain that will grip my chest as I lie here one day in the future, knowing you've gone, perhaps I can live time reversed, all grieving done, no tears to shed, time cancelled, my fingertips still exploring your beloved flesh, you and I in a perpetual present time. But no, my mourning will be of infinite duration. Better not to step through the looking glass. There will be no relief from remembering that you've gone, and no end to the pain. Best to keep my poor one-way memory that holds the presence of you, and remember only our precious years together.
Right, this is a sequence poem called Ich ruf zu dir, I call to you. It's for Mimi Calvati, who taught me how to do a sequence poem. I didn't know of sequence poems at all. So you get all these fragments that join together. There's two prose bits in the middle, and they all add up to something, you hope. And so my friend had a heart attack. She was brushing her hair in the handheld mirror, and it fell to the ground. She had a heart attack. And she said these were all the things going through her mind. The memory of the Solaris movie, of the two drunks in the pub, of the music of Bach, her childhood memories of gooseberries, all hailed the prelude to her death. Memories lie shattered and scattered like the hand mirror fallen from her hand, reflecting all and nothing. So sequence poems that attempts to mimic the strands of the choral movements sustained by a single voice, a la Mr. Bach. Whatever is in the head when death comes calling. Bear with me, I get to the top of the poem again now. And of course Mimi has just won the King's Gold Medal for poetry. So we're all delighted for her because she's so well loved and liked. And I might have to cut a bit of this out now. So. Ich ruf zu dir, I call to you, from Mimi Calvati. Brushes her hair in the mirror. She stares death full in the face, the heart attack catching her off guard. Dusk walks off into the distance. Night speaks slowly, quietly. Green shadows, lilac shadows, never just black. Gooseberries, geraniums, sherbet, those things of childhood she both liked and didn't. I only half listened to them, smug in their snug, poets scoring pints off each other over the odd pint or two or more. Ah, now, Jesus, your oyster always give me the golly wobbles. Every time I encounter an oyster, I think of Chekhov's corpse, and sure, the appetite goes off me. Is that right? That's right, so it is. Sure, when poor Chekhov became a corpse, he was kept on ice with the oysters and shipped to Moscow. So it's always Chekhov's old face I see, you see, when I come face to face with an oyster. I think of him being extracted from his shell and slipping slowly down death's throat. Oh, Jesus, Jesus, sure, isn't that a terrible man altogether for the poets and such like? But come here to me when I'm talking to you. Have you ever heard tell of a fella called, if memory serves me right, well, what was it now? Shi Hong Ti. Shi Hong Ti. Let's see now. No, now, I don't believe I've had that pleasure. Who is he, for God's sake? Sure, wasn't your man only the first supreme ruler of China? He wasn't. He was. I declare to God. And sure, for 9 months now, I tell you, after his death, he continued to reign, seated upon his throne, surrounded by fish. Well, that's as posthumous as you can get. But why the fish? To disguise the smell, you idiot. And that's why I can't stand either sight or sound of our scaly friends. It gives me the creeps, I tell you. Fair enough. Will you have another? Sure I will so. Bitter gooseberries. I prayed to my granny's apron full of stars and flowers, only a rag now for shining shoes, to my uncle's old hat that sat for years and years on the brown dresser like a dried up soul, to my other uncle's battered boots still caked with mud from summers long, long ago, which now houses a kitten that can't get out, mewing pitifully in its plight. The gooseberries' bitterness. Solaris, was it, floating in space, back to Bach, Ich ruf zu dir. She holds the gooseberry between finger and thumb, her eyes devouring it. The sun shone through it, a prism of living light. Snow is falling in the room from which she first saw snow falling. She stands outside, falling through time. She listens to the wheat listens to her listening, the wind moves them both. In the story of her childhood, there are always gooseberries. The words dress themselves up, walk around in stories, showing off. She prays to the green light of the gooseberry that is the god of living things. The mirror holds her reflection even when she's gone. Death hums its little tune. They're better fed than read, as my grandmother said, about anyone other than ourselves. He thought the good idea was his. She thought the good idea was hers. He said he will, but he won't. She said she won't, but she will. The mirror can't find her anywhere. She's fallen off the edge of the world. So the title emerges from Bach's Ich ruf zu dir, Herr Jesu Christ. It's a cantata for the fourth Sunday after Trinity. And she used to like that a lot, and she used to get me to play it for her. And the soundtrack of Solaris features Bach's chorale prelude for organ. Ich ruf zu dir, Herr Jesu Christ, played throughout the film. So, you know, it was always there. And the prelude is the film's central musical theme. Tarkovsky initially wanted the film to be devoid of music and asked the composer to orchestrate ambient sounds as a musical score. The latter proposed subtly introducing orchestral music. In counterpart point to classical music, as Earth's theme is fluid electronic music as the theme for the planet Solaris. And the character of Harry has his own sub-theme based upon Bach's music. It is heard at Harry's death and at story end.
Voices in the Garden, let's do that. From my book.
Oh, right. Not that again.
This is called Voices in the Garden. Ants wail marooned, stuck in glue traps on apple trees. Bees mutter mantras. A bickering queue of young jays at the bird feeder. Pigeons coo in monotones. Gladioli are breaking free, flourishing green blades, crying, En garde, j'arrive! Clematis have heard a starting gun, run up their poles, ivy cheers them on. Ghosts of dandelions roam the rubbish heap, mourning, uprooted, exiled. I can hear strawberries blushing under leaves, whispering, Come here, I'm ready. Thank you.